everyone, welcome back to my channel, Mingby and I. My name is Mandi and I'm a full-time reseller. Today is my What Sold Wednesday video, so this will be for the week of April 7th through the 13th. I did have sales on all 4 platforms, Mercari, Poshmark, eBay, and Depop. Looking at my notes for the week, it was pretty much slow all the way around. Mercari only one sale, which for a while that seemed to be pretty regular. It seemed like the last couple weeks it was picking up, but I don't know what happened. Poshmark kind of went back down to my average of only 11 items sold last week. eBay, I did still have my 18% coupon, 14 items sold there. And then Depop was a little bit slower too with only 10 items selling. I don't have anything else that I wrote down for my notes because it was kind of a slower week. So we will get right into the sales. Starting on Poshmark, this was a pair of Chico's like alligator, I think it was croc embossed faux leather pants. These were new tags. They were a size 1.5, which is equivalent to a US 10. They were new tags from Ross. I've talked about that a couple different times now, and these did go for $20. This was a homemade Easter vest. I'm glad that this went. I got this a couple months ago, I think. If it wouldn't have sold before Easter, I probably would have held on to it again for another year. So someone offered me 15. I was fine with that. This was a bins pickup. Weirdly enough, this one did have quite a bit of interest on Depop. This was a J. Jill dress, a size extra large. It was 100% linen. I did put in the title church dress. This definitely looks Easter churchish to me. It's kind of modest with a higher neck, a knee length. I think I got this at one of the local church thrift stores. I'm assuming I only paid like maybe $4 for it. I'd have to look. But this one did end up going for $32. Next was a top from Soft Surroundings. I really liked the colorway on this. It was kind of like a darker rainbow type vibe in this plaid. It was a pullover, kind of lightweight, kind of a gauzy material. This one did go for $22. This Zara dress sold. This was that one where I had the whole debacle on eBay where she put it in as item not described and it came back. I did put in a counter claim. I don't even know what it's called on eBay, but I just said, she used the wrong, that I thought she used the wrong reasoning. I don't know. I didn't look to see if they reimbursed me for the shipping or not, but whatever, I'm over it. So this did end up selling now on Poshmark for $24. This person loved it, so it definitely fits a medium. She said it was too small. Next up was like a sweater cardigan type jacket from Christopher & Banks. It had a bunch of embroidery on it, longer length, size extra large. I got this one at the bins thinking it could kind of go 2 different ways. Maybe more like a mature woman might get it, or somebody that just likes the style of the embroidery on it, and it did go for $20. Next was a slip from California Dynasties from the 90s. This one did come from the Goodwill bins. I picked this up mainly based on style. It has all the pastel colors that we know are popular this season. It has that really pretty floral print to it, really lightweight. This one was a size medium, and it did go for $18. This was the sale of the week. This was from Denim & Supply by Ralph Lauren. I did look up comps before I picked this up because I did pay full price at Goodwill. $7.99 I think dresses are. I saw comps that were closer to $80, $90, but those were bigger sizes. This one was only a size small. There was a lot of attention. I did have it originally listed, I think, for $80, and I was getting some pretty lowball offers. Finally, I don't know if I sent the 65 or somebody offered it to me, but I figured, 7 or 8 into 65 is not bad. Sales were not great this week, so I was happy to move it. These Zara loafers I've had for longer than I was expecting. They were new tags, a size 9, really chunky. I got these at Goodwill on clearance for $3.99. I think I originally had them priced at like $45, which I don't think is like completely out of line for new Zara loafers, but no one was budging. So I finally relisted them for $30 and they did end up selling. This is a Prana dress in this really pretty like peachy orange color. It had some sort of line print to it. These athletic dresses normally do fairly well for me in a couple different brands like Patagonia, Athleta, Prana. Who else makes these? Title 9. Any brand that makes an athletic dress, I normally look it up if I'm not familiar with it, just to see how comps are. A lot of people like wearing these dresses. It's, easy for the summer and the spring, especially if you're on vacation. So I normally look into those. This would go for $20. This was a pair of Old Navy pants. I think I originally bought these from the bins for myself, but they just did not look right. They were a pair of pull-on jogger pants, like in a dark olive green, and someone did get these for $17. The one and only sale on Mercari. This was like a boxier type print. It was more of a, I put in celestial, groovy, geometric pattern, boxy nylon sleeveless top. It was a size extra large. I'm assuming this came from the bins or $1.99 day at Goodwill. There was some interest on this on Depop as well, but somebody did pick it up on Mercari for $14.25. Onto eBay. This was a Bowden dress. This one I did pick up at the bins. It did have a little bit of wash wear. Like once you got close to the fabric, you could notice, but if you were kind of far away, it wasn't as noticeable. Size 6, and this one did go for $34. I've had this light forever, like I want to say close to 2 to 3 years. I thought for sure someone would want this for their dorm room. It's very Y2K. This like, what do I want to call it? It's almost like those old popcorn lights that you find in like vintage Halloween or Christmas decorations. This was a flower, and then it did have this little butterfly clip type thing on it. Somebody did finally get it for $21.86. This type of skirt I will pick up every single time regardless of what brand it is. The skirts that seem to sell the best for me are tiered in like a cream or beige, and then they have that light pink floral like ditzy print. It sells all the time. I always use the keywords cottagecore, prairie, boho, and floral. I'm sure I probably put some more in the description, and this one did go for $20. This pair of pants, somebody just put in a return for them. We'll see if they send them back. They said that they were too small and that they weren't brand new. Well, nowhere in here did I say that they were brand new. The condition I even put good. I didn't even put excellent because they weren't in excellent condition. So we'll see. They were a pair of Athleta cargo. They were lined pants. Pull on a size 14 tall. These were picked up at the bins and they did go for $22.96. This is from the brand Notations. I've sold quite a few blouses from this brand. This one is just that typical ruffle front. It does tie in the front. I think the sleeves had a little bit of a flare to them. Semi-sheer, size extra large. This I think I got at Goodwill on $1.99 day, and this did go for $19.68. This was a bins pickup. The tags were cut, so I just kind of had to measure it to a large, extra large. It was all black and then it had a whole bunch of embroidery to it. I did use Renaissance. I normally do when there's a lot of like same color embroidery, if that makes sense. And I also did use dark cottage core for this one, and it did go for $16.40. Another skirt, this one was from the brand Jaclyn Smith. She made quite a few cool skirts in the 90s, early 2000s. This deep purple is another color that does great for me in skirts. This was also a bigger size, an 18W. Had a slit on both sides. Both sides it had a slit on. It did go for $24.60. This pair of pants was picked up at the bins. It's Polo Ralph Lauren. They were tan seersucker. Any seersucker items I will look at, especially if they are Polo Ralph Lauren. These were 36-30, so a little bit bigger of a size. We're definitely getting into seersucker weather. You know, linens are going to do great here too. I've been selling quite a bit of that. Some of the keywords that I do use for seersucker or anything that kind of looks like this: preppy, nautical, boating, vacation. Those I kind of keep together just because that's the vibe of these pants. They did end up going for $32.80. I have been selling quite a bit of Chico's lately. I don't know what's going on there because for the longest time it was sitting. I don't know if I'm just getting better at sizing and style, but these were Zenergy, so that's like their athletic line of Chico's. These were more of a performance feel to them. Cargo, a size 2.5, which is equivalent to a 14, and these did go for $18. This was a bundle deal. This girl was really nice. She bought both items and then asked if I could ship them out right away. When that happens, when I go in to print the label, I will put both of the orders together. You can kind of go in there. I'm not looking at it right now, so I don't remember exactly how to do it. There's a bunch of YouTube videos, but you can combine the shipping. So you just click both of them. There's a drop down. I can't remember exactly what it says. Something along the lines of combined shipping. And then you just have one label because it's going to the same person. And then I will go in and refund them for the overage of the shipping that they paid for. First item was this like mismatched print top from Impressions. I've never heard of this brand. It looked like an older tag. I got it mainly based off of the colorway on it and the patterns. It was very floral. This was a size extra large. She got this one on sale for $18. And then the next item she got was this other mismatched floral type print blazer. This one was from BGB. I've never heard of that brand either. It looked like an older tag. This had one button front, and that one she did also get for $18. I've had that one for quite a while with like zero interest. So once she sent that offer, I was like, yeah, definitely you can have that. This was a skirt from Sonoma. The tag was definitely older. It looked Y2K-ish to me. It was a linen blend, a size 10. It had cargo pockets in that really nice dark like olive green color. And this one went for $16.40. Alfred Dunner's been moving for me lately. I do not pick everything up from that brand. They're on the list of ones that I have been kind of looking when I'm at the bins to see if I can bundle items together. This is a brand that I find a lot that still has newer tags. So I've kind of been experimenting with that. I did just sell a bundle. You'll see it next week. But this was new tags. Was it linen? I don't think so. I think it was cotton. This was an 18W, like a boho paisley embroidery type print on this one. Picked it up at the bins and it did go for $16.40. And then the last item on eBay this week, this actually was my sister's. She was a big Eeyore fan back in like the 90s and early 2000s. So my mom would buy just like a whole bunch of stuff for, you know, Christmas presents, birthday presents, whatever. And then my sister just like never opened it. It was all just decor, whatever, in her room. So my mom's been going through the closets and stuff at their house, and my sister's like, you know, I don't want any of it, like do whatever you want with it. So I'm like, okay, I'll put it up for sale and see what happens. This was an Uno game from Winnie the Pooh from 2003. I don't think it was opened. Yeah, the cards were still sealed in it, and this one did go for $18.03. So not bad for a deck of cards that had been sitting in a box in my sister's room for I don't even know how many years at this point. So if you're somebody that has a whole bunch of stuff at your parents' house yet, it might be something to look at to see if you can flip it online. Okay, so now we are on to Depop. This tank I'm pretty sure I showed in a haul not very long ago. It was a mixed boho print with these little, there weren't really beads, they were little discs that kind of came down underneath the bust line, size medium, and this one did go for $21. So not bad for a tank top that came from the bins. Another tank top, this one was from Christopher and Banks, I think. This might have been in the same haul that I showed that other one, size 2X. I used all the grunge, fairy, woodsy type keywords for that one, and it did go for $18. This one actually had quite a bit of attention. This was picked up at the Goodwill bins. It was just like a long sleeve fishnet top. Some of the keywords for this one, I did use open knit, fishnet, rave, festival, nylon, stretch, goth, long sleeve, sexy. And then in the description, I put in open knit, go-go dancer, emo, layering, and stretch. One size, it didn't have a size. And I did put like measurements in there. This one did go for $18, so my full asking price. This was a fun skirt. I really liked the colors on this. Really pretty, like spring, bright pastel colors. Let's see, what did I use for keywords? I put in vintage Y2K 2000s groovy abstract handkerchief girly skirt size 14. I also used quirky, retro. This skirt I think was picked up at the bins and it went for $17. These shorts I picked up based on style. I think I've sold this brand though in a couple different items now. Blue Bee, I don't know what that is. It might be like a boutique type thing, but as soon as I saw these, the first thing that came to my mind was like Austin bachelorette party because it's definitely giving like that rodeo western type vibe. I did use those keywords. I did put in faux leather suede studded mini shorts, high-waisted western rodeo, faux leather studded bachelorette, boho, western modern. So these were, what did I say, a size large, and they did go for $28. So I think I'm going to look into this brand and just kind of see what it is, because $28 for a pair of shorts is pretty good. These capris I've had for way longer than I thought I should. They were vintage Massimo from Target, definitely Y2K. They're cropped. They have that fun, like almost cartoon floral print to them. a size 3. They still had tags on them. It was giving like Lizzie McGuire. That's why I picked them up originally, but maybe I wasn't using the right keywords to attract the right buyer, but it took forever. Somebody did finally offer me $13.33 and I accepted because I was like, you know what, I've had them for too long, they need to go. But I'm assuming I probably only had like $2 into them, so it's not the worst return. This cat shirt had over 56 likes and over 5,000 views. I don't know why. I picked it up at the bins, I held it up, I was like, I don't know, this is kind of like weird cat, but that always sells. I don't know why it does, but it does. On the front, it had, like, I'm not even sure, somebody might have made this shirt, to be honest, because on the front it had, like, you know, they almost looked like iron-on patches of 2 cats and then another cat, and then on the back, it just had, like, random little cats. I don't know. A lot of people were interested in it, and it did go for $14. And it had quite a few flaws, too. I think it had some discoloration and quite a bit of fading to the black. This was a style pickup from the brand HB Sport by Harbor Bay. This is definitely giving Y2K vibes, like when I was in 7th grade. This was like what the boys were wearing. This had like flaming skulls on it. It almost had like a bowling shirt type vibe and how it fits a person. Size 3X, so a really good size with that one. And it did go for $20.70, and this was picked up at the bins. This was an Elos skirt. It was tiered, it was black, pull-on, no embroidery or anything on this one, size 14. This one did not take long to sell at all, and it did go for $18. And then the last item to sell was from Moda Tech, I believe the brand was. Picked up at the bins based on the style. It almost has like a watercolor, what was on here, deer? No, horses. It was like a watercolor horse print, I guess you could call it. It was button front, short sleeve, size extra large, so a good size, and this one did go for $21. This week's sales were not horrible, but they weren't like outstanding either. I haven't done my numbers yet for the following week. It is Monday the 21st. I will get that done later. This week I am like jam-packed with stuff, and last week I should have prepared, I guess, for this upcoming week. We're doing a bunch of home renovation type stuff this week, so my sales might hurt a little bit just because I'm going to be busy for like half the week, like the end half of the week. So I don't know if I'm going to have time to list. I'm a little bit ahead, but not enough that I can keep pushing out 15 each day. So I might have to rely on delisting, relisting for my listings like Thursday, Friday. We'll see. We'll see if things move quickly, then maybe I can get stuff done, or I'm just going to have to like stay up a little bit later maybe, or get up a little bit earlier. I don't know. We'll see how that goes. As far as videos go, this upcoming Monday, I'm making a little bit different of a video. I did have a subscriber request to see like my meal planning menu type thing I talked about last week. So I think that video will go out next Monday. It kind of ties into what I was talking about when I did my like upcoming goals or whatever that video was at the beginning of the year, that I wanted to have a video every once in a while that maybe wasn't completely about reselling on the channel. So this one will be that. It's just going to kind of go over like some tips and tricks on how to save money when you're grocery shopping, how I do my meal prepping and planning with that little menu so that I'm not like just sitting there and it's like, what am I going to eat? For whatever reason, I feel like being an adult, that is like one of the hardest things to do, is to come up with meals 3 times a day. Maybe it's just me, I don't know, but that is like one of the most daunting tasks in my life, is to figure that out. So when I can just have it ready to go for the whole week and not have to think about it, it definitely makes the week a lot easier. If you are new to the channel, you might not know, but I have been like an audiobook person now for probably close to a year. Let me know below what your favorite book is. I'm not too particular on what I read or listen to. I will give anything a shot, but right now my list is kind of dwindled down of ones that I had in line to read. So I'm definitely looking for new books. So if you have a favorite author or a favorite book, definitely put it down below. I want to check it out. I like listening to a whole bunch of different things. The only thing I probably wouldn't listen to, I don't know, I have an issue with Dave Ramsey. So like anything by him, I probably would not listen to. Other than that, nonfiction, fiction, autobiographies, self-help, any of it, whatever your favorite book is, put it below, unless it's Dave Ramsey, and I am excited to read through those. And as always, if you enjoyed today's video, please make sure to give it a like. It really helps out the channel, and I really appreciate it. I will see you guys on the next one. Bye!